welcome to the Advent Cloud Outdoors YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing us how to make a fire without using any matches, and we're going to be using one of my favorite fire making tools. So I just cut down a tree that had been half eaten by termites, so I'm going to take advantage because I had to burn it either way so that it doesn't regrow, so that maybe we might kill the termite queen, because these termites can be a problem. So I'm going to take advantage of that, and then we're going to make a fire using what I call the ferrocerium rod. So yeah, let's get to that. So firstly, I want to talk about fire. So of course we're going to be using the ferrocerium rod today, but you always want to have at least 3 ways to start a fire before you leave the house. In case one way fails, you don't want to have the one way that you wanted to make a fire. For example, if you talk about your matches, what happens if your matches fails on you? You know, it could get wet, it could get rained on, your gas lighter runs out of gas. The ferrocerium rod comes with its own scraper, as you can see, right? But you always also can use your knife as well, as long as it's something that's got a really sharp back, at least a 90-degree angle. It could be able to scrape the ferrocerium rod as well. So I'm just gonna, I chose to make this video later on in the day. As you can see, the lighting's not that good, but it's also because I'm making a demonstration of fire, so it's easier even to see the spark of the ferrocerium rod when the light is not that good. So it's not about me, it's about the fire. A fire is a transfer of energy from something that's small to something that's big. You want to have your fire layout, your fire train laid out already before you actually start making the fire. Why? Because you don't want to have your flame going on here and then you're trying to look for the things to feed the fire, because you might have very limited chances. You know, imagine if your options of starting a fire are very small and you've worked so hard just to get that spark and that fire going, and then now you want to look for the other things that you have to find. That doesn't make sense. So when you're in a survival situation, the less foolish mistakes that you make, the higher your probability of actually staying alive, which is what you want to do. Usually your tinder is your finest material that you can find that could catch a spark. You can look for a bird's nest. Of course, you remove the bird and the eggs. You could use a bird nest, and then you could sort of process it by doing this with your hands so that it actually finds out and it could catch the spark of the ferrocerium rod. Or what you could also use, what I like using, is cotton. So cotton is so fine that it actually doesn't take much for it to catch a spark. I'll show you an example. Want to find the finest material that you have around you. It could be grass, it could be birch bark. Birch bark is a type of bark from a tree that's got oil. It's got water resistant properties because of the oil, and it actually burns really well. Like we said, fire is a transfer of energy from something that's small to something that's relatively larger. For example, if you're transferring energy from something this small, something like that, right, and then you move from there to something about like this, and so on and so on. You don't want to try and transfer energy from something this small to something this big. It doesn't work like that. Just how it is in life. You don't just grow from this to this. There's stages, there's a process, and that's how starting or making a fire is. You're transferring that energy from there to there. Now also, there's something that I really like. I call it the cotton wax biscuit, right? It's not edible, but it is cotton that has been dipped in candle wax. So the reason I like this, it burns so much longer than regular cotton, right? So I actually like to open it up and split it in the middle. This burns so much longer than regular cotton. I'm actually gonna show you an example of how much longer this burns as compared to regular cotton. I'm gonna use my lighter for this one. So we've got the cotton that doesn't have the wax here, then you've got the cotton that's got the wax actually. So I'm just gonna use my lighter. So that's the cotton that's got the wax in it. And this is the regular cotton. See, it catches on pretty quicker, but basically we'll see which one burns longer. If you want to split wood, right, because we want different sizes, if you want to split wood, another easy way that I've seen to actually split wood, for me at least, is actually using your knife. That's why you want a strong knife that has a full tang, because what that does is it helps you when you're trying to split. See that? It makes it so much easier. And always make sure that your knife stop is not a hard surface that can blunt your knife. So you always want to make sure that your knife stop is something that's not going to blunt your knife. And for me, it's the tree. So just want to peel the bark off. That helps a lot. Makes it easier for you. So this is the fine material that we're going to use. It's the finest that I could get here. It's going to be what we're going to put on top of our cotton. So you also want to have some firewood ready as well. There we go. All right, notice I used the side with this for the weight instead of holding it like this. This has got the weight because of this part over here. That makes it so much easier. Oh, wonderful. All right, there we go. So I've arranged my stuff in order of size. I've got this fine material, you've got the twigs, the snap sticks, and then you've got this smaller wood here, and then you've got the larger wood over here. I'm definitely going to need more things to hold the fire as well. Easier when you do that. So it's easier for your fire. Alright. So we've got our cotton that's got wax in it. I love this because it burns for so much longer. And it's going to make it so much easier for all this to catch the fire because of how long it's going to burn. And a good tip is that actually if you put this on top of the wood, the wax is going to melt on top of the wood and it's going to make it easier for the wood to burn. Yeah. Cotton is burning and already you just want to put that on there. Just want to put that on there. Then we'll put our snap sticks. Cotton burns up quickly, so you want to have your material that's going to burn ready. Right, we got our snap sticks there. Then we're going to put some of this wood. Right, my knee was hurting. Feeling old. There we go. I'm just going to lean this over there so that it's over the fire. Actually, I have a big log right here. It's gonna heat up and burn eventually, but now I want to actually have myself some moringa tea. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So I'm just gonna put my kettle on the fire there, just let the water boil up, and then I'm just gonna have my moringa tea. This canteen is actually much bigger than it looks. It's about 1 liter that can go in here. So I'm just gonna put this right there. When it's boiled up, I'll have my moringa tea. It's good tea. Just want to concentrate that fire there. This is some of that moringa tea. Just gonna put some of that moringa in there. See all that smoke's coming in my direction now. Oh yeah. Careful not to burn the bag. But yeah. Got my moringa tea there. Bon appetit. Great stuff. So moringa is actually good for, it's a superfood. So whatever your body is lacking, usually it provides that what your body is lacking. A story is told of a tribe that was going malnourished. I think it's because they couldn't find food anywhere. So what they did was they found a moringa tree. They started drinking the leaves as a tea, and they actually regained weight, and they were quite healthy. So moringa is great, and it's awesome for sleep. I could really vouch for that one. You sleep amazingly after drinking moringa, but be careful. Different people have different reactions towards different herbs, so you always want to be careful and try out bit by bit. It might be different for you, but yeah, if you like this video, subscribe, like, so that you could see more of these. We're going to be posting more of these more often, so yeah, awesome stuff. See you next time. Ciao.
Well, I keep on singing till he gets here. I keep talking about my Lord. I get down on my